Okay, welcome back. Today's Swiss Army knife will be one I received a few days ago. It is the Swiss Spirit Special Edition for 2020, and this is an Explorer. And this did arrive in a little better condition than what the Pioneer did, so let's get into it and take a look. So inside you have your thank you for buying our product card. It does have English on one side, and I'm not sure what language that is on the other side. Maybe Swiss language or something of that nature. You have your instruction card, and it looks like it is in English as well as several other languages. And you have your Swiss Explorer. It's kind of nice that it has this kind of form-fitted foam or what have you in the packaging. It would be nice if they did that for all of these special edition ones. As you can see, it's a reminder of how the Pioneer came. Now, granted, the box was a little beat up when I got it, but it's not as fancy, for lack of better terms. But I digress. Okay, so let's get into it. This is obviously a 2020 Explorer, so it's going to have the most current tool lineup for it. And the Explorer is a 91mm 4-layer knife. And really the only thing that makes this thing special is you have the Swiss Spirit scales on it. They're the white Celador scales with some of the Swiss symbols or national treasures or what have you want to call them on it. A little fancier design. You have like the Alps, some cheese, a ram head, Swiss knives, Swiss watches. Excuse me if you're from Switzerland, but you have the Ricola guy. So again, it's a 91mm knife, roughly. It's your typical 7/8 of an inch tall for the 91mm knife. And then being a 4-layer, it's almost 3/4 of an inch wide, as you can see. So let's get into it. So on the back, you're going to have your 4-turn solid corkscrew. This one does have the eyeglass screwdriver in it, as you can see. And there is different ways to date these things, and I'll try to make a video on that. But just know that these are the most current tool lineup. I know this is a popular addition that people will add to other versions that didn't come with it, that they carry in their pocket. And you have the multi-purpose hook or postal hook. And then again, as you get into dating these, one of the things that will show up is that after 98, some of the postal hooks, depending on the model, had a nail file in the back of it, and the postal hook was added in 91. So anytime you see that, you know it's automatically a post 91 knife. We know this is a 2020. Another indication, for example, is the key ring moved from the corkscrew layer over to the awl or reamer layer in 91, so that's another indication it's a post 91 knife. And you have your reamer awl, and this style of awl has been around since 1961, and then in 1985 they added that sewing eye there, so that's always an indication this is a post 85 knife. Okay, getting into your normal opening layer, you have your can opener with the precision screwdriver, and you'll see some that have a Swiss Pat stamp on them. I believe they dropped that in 1980. And you'll have your cap lifter and wire bender. It has a hollow ground flathead screwdriver. Then you'll notice it has a 90-degree stop that was added on models after 85. You have your inline Phillips with a 90-degree stop. And there are a couple of different variations of this. There's a short one, which is what we see here, and a long one. I'll try to explain that a little bit when I get into my video on dating knives. You have your magnifying glass with the clear surround. I'll have to, again, when we get into dating knives, that's an indication it's a later knife. In '73, when they started adding the magnifying glass, that had a gray surround around it. And I also believe it was a 8-power magnifying glass, and this one's a 5-power maybe. I may have that backwards, but I think that change happened in 2004 or something like that. You have your scissors, and again, you can get into dating these knives based on the scissors, whether they have a screw or a rivet or a steel pin, kind of what you see there. And then springs also play into it, whether it has a 1-layer spring or a 2-layer spring, whether or not there's this guiding. I don't know if you can see that. This guiding, spring guiding piece here, that denotes that it's a later knife. Which, again, we already know that because it's a 2020. You get into your main blade. Very sharp. From the factory. And this says Victorinox Swiss made stainless. And on the back it's got the Officer Suisse, or however you say that. And there is a whole way, or whole nother system I should say, of dating these knives based on tang stamps. So I'll try to delve into that a little bit as I get comfortable with it. And you have your spear point blade. There's basically 2 styles, which is a clip point and then a spear point. This is what the spear point looks like. You'll find clip points on pre-73 knives, and then obviously on all of these dates. They're not hard set, because it's not like Victorinox is going to just stop using it. There's going to be a transition period to where that same tool lineup may go a few years one way or another. Kind of think of it as a car. Just because they came out with a new alternator, if the old alternator works on the current engine, they're going to keep using it until they use their supply up. So another thing with the Swiss Spirit Explorer here is it does have the plus scales. So with the plus scales, you get your standard scale tools, such as your tweezers. And again, as you get into dating these, post 78, they have the plastic tip on them. You have your toothpick. Now the toothpick has remained basically the same since 1902, but there are a few subtle changes. You know, all this information is available on the SACWiki website. So if you get on that, Swiss Army Knives Wiki is basically what it is. Then with your plus scales, you get an ink pen. It's not a great ink pen, but it's an ink pen. It gives you something to write with. And there are videos where people will take the postal hook and kind of wedge the ink pen down underneath of it, so they have a little bit longer of a writing tool. I personally just carry an ink pen. Probably won't carry this knife. This is more of a collector knife, if you will. Okay, hopefully you're enjoying these reviews. Stay tuned. And as you noticed, I did a little bit of editing and created kind of a general intro. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Appreciate your time. stay tuned.